I want to first again extend my condolences to the Prude family. I've reached out to them and the local Black Lives Matter protesters to discuss Mr. Prude's life and discuss how we can create real change to address racism in all aspects of our city and our society. And looking forward to continued discussion and recognize the basic humanity of individuals who are suffering from mental health issues like Mr. Prude. Mr. Daniel Prude was failed by our police department, our mental health care system, our society, and he was failed by me. And I stand here against the advice of our corporation counsel, but I would not be who I am today if I don't stand on my own truth. I must apologize to the Prude family and to all of our community. In August of 1962, my cousin Ebony Farewell, who stands here with me today, her grandfather, Rufus T. Farewell, Sr., was a victim of police brutality and eventually became the first citizen of Rochester to receive a settlement from police brutality from the city of Rochester. That was 1962. It is now September of 2020, and Daniel Prude's death has proven yet again that many of the challenges that we faced then are the same challenges that we face today. Now, I am taking action to address these challenges and build upon our city's work to address racism in all of its forms. Doing this work has been at the heart of my service as mayor of this city. Yet today is not the day to recount those efforts, but to double down on them. I have never shied away from taking action and holding our police or anyone that fails in their duties in our community accountable. That is why I am suspending the officers in question today against the advice of counsel. And I urge the Attorney General to complete her investigation. I understand that the union may sue the city for this. They shall feel free to do so. Actually, I've been sued 4 times from actions that I have taken against racist acts that I believe. In addition, I have addressed with the police chief how deeply and personally and professionally disappointed I am for him failing to fully and accurately inform me about what occurred with Mr. Prude. He knows he needs to do better to truly protect and serve our community, and I believe that he will. Experiencing and ultimately dying from a drug overdose in police custody, as I was told by the chief, is entirely different than what I ultimately witnessed on the video provided to me by the law department on August 4th. I have since ordered the chief to provide me with video from any in-custody death or use of force incident within 24 hours. I have also ordered Chief Singletary to provide 2 briefings to me regarding both the criminal and internal aspects of the investigation immediately, and charged him to provide a plan within 30 days to further address our police department's response to mental health cause. I also want to be very clear today about what I knew about Mr. Prude's death and when I knew it. After our police department responded to the 911 call on March 23rd, I was informed later that day by Chief Singletary that Mr. Prude had an apparent drug overdose while in custody. Chief Singletary never informed me of the actions of his officers to forcibly restrain Mr. Prude. I only learned of those officers' actions on August 4th, when Corporation Counsel Tim Curtin reviewed the video while fulfilling the FOIL request from Mr. Prude's attorney. At no time prior to August 4th did Chief Singletary or anyone make me aware or show me a video of the actions of the RPD officers involved in Mr. Prude's death. What I saw in that video was a man who needed help, a man who needed compassion, a man who needed humanity, a man who we should have respected, a man who was in crisis. Our response to him was wrong. And we need to change how we deal with these situations going forward. And that is why, after a discussion with City Council, we will provide additional funding and partner with Monroe County to double the availability of the Forensic Intervention Team, or FIT, or retool our own FACET program to pair mental health professionals with law enforcement to allow them to provide a more robust response to mental health-related 911 calls. I have also ordered the use of FIT or FACET by RPD whenever possible, and for them to work with 911 to develop the protocols. I will also lead the fight to establish a permanent funding stream for an expanded FIT program. However, these are just the first steps to address this long neglected issue to protect and serve our most vulnerable citizens. That's why I am calling on and charging the co-chairs of our Racial and Structural Equity Commission to develop and recommend long-term solutions to improve access to mental health, particularly acute care for those in crisis, like Mr. Prude. But I want to take a step back to truly address this. How we failed to serve our community. How I believe I failed to serve our community. To fight injustice. To stand up for those in need and to ensure that everyone has a fighting chance at life. In this case, my failure in all of this, that I truly say sorry for, was using my legal mind in all of this. I'm an attorney by trade, and with the mindset of an attorney, and not necessarily the mindset of a human being, of a mother, of a friend, of a sister, of a daughter, of a cousin. I didn't rely on the very fabric of what makes me, on my foundation, on my faith, on my family, the personal part of me that wanted to reach out to the Prude family, to give them my heartfelt condolences of support. I allowed the legal side of me, being sued 4 times already, losing my mentor on my birthday, and the Assistant Attorney General's request that we not come forward and talk about this, to keep me from following what I know is my true north and what this community has counted on from me time and time again. I'm proud to have my cousin Ebony standing here with me. We're born 11 days apart. Went to the same schools, educated together, raised together like sisters. I started this off by talking about her grandfather, that in 1962, Rufus Farwell was the first black man to win a lawsuit against this city for police brutality. This is who I am. This is where I come from, and this is very personal to me. Not only today, but every day it has been personal. I have stood up wanting to be on the right side of justice and on the right side of history, and this is no different. Mr. Prude lost his life in our city. He lost his life because of the actions of our police officers. He lost his life because of the failure of a lot of different systems on that day. And as of today, as I stand here today, as I stood here before this community when it was a young 12-year-old boy who jumped into the river, who lost his life because the same systems failed him, Travion Rowe. I stand here in front of you on behalf of Mr. Prude. I do not deny we failed him. We failed him when he got off the train in Buffalo. We failed him when he went to the hospital. We failed him when his family called 911. And even in his death, we failed him. But today we have an opportunity to make it right, to learn from his death in our city, and to do everything possible to make sure it doesn't happen this way again. This thought process of institutional and structural racism in our community has been on the forefront of my mind for years. But this year, we took a bold step forward in joining with the county in forming the Race Commission. Last year, I worked with the National League of Cities to form the Racial Equity and Leadership Institute and brought that to City Hall because I knew that the only way we are going to change institutional and structural and systematic racism in our city is to face it head on. We have to. And when I brought forth the Race Commission, I had no idea that Mr. Prude had died in the manner in which he did. We started the work because it was the right thing to do. The commissioners we have charged and the people who are working on this commission, I need them. This city needs them. This county needs them to correct the institutional and structural wrongs that we have embedded in the systems across the board, in our police department, in City Hall, in our health systems, in our county system, in our state system. Even the very fact that civil service law precludes me as the mayor of this city from doing certain things, even in this instance, that is a problem. We are hamstrung by certain laws, and it is wrong, and it is time for all of that to change. It is time that our community join forces with the advocates, with the people who are protesting in our streets, and the government to stand up for what is right. And what is right is that everyone is treated humanely, that everyone is treated with justice. What is right? That there will not be and can't be a justice system for Black people and a justice system for white people. That there isn't a health system for white people and a health system for Black people. That there isn't a school system for Black kids and a school system for white kids. But today, in 2020, there's a justice system for Black people and a justice system for white folks. There's a justice system for those people that have lost their lives at the hands of officers across our country. They deserve justice. Today, in 2020, there's a separate school system for black kids and white kids, a separate school health system for black people and white people. And it's wrong. Once and for all, we have to deal with the things in our community that we have never wanted to face. It is time that we stop sugarcoating things. So I join with the advocates for calling for police reform. I join with the family of Daniel Prude in calling for the Attorney General's office to finish the investigation. I join with this city demanding that justice be served here in whatever that justice may be. But I'm not going to hide behind the law because I'm a lawyer. I join with City Council in asking that the charges against the protesters be dropped. We have a lot of work to do here. We are in a moment in time, not only in this city, but in this country, to deal with the very issues that this country has failed to face century after century, generation after generation. My heart is with the family of Daniel Prude, as a mayor, as a mother, as a sister, as a cousin, as a daughter of a black woman. I'm filled with grief and anger at myself for all the failures that led to his death. I know that I must do better as a leader of this community. We all must do better as leaders in our community. Our police department must do better. Our health system must do better. Our entire society must make these changes a priority. We cannot continue to fail black lives this way. We can't improve our city or improve our nation until we face the reality. We face the undeniable truth. Racism is alive and well in every system in America. And the buck stops today with me here at City Hall. It stops, and we must, as a society, as a city, as a community, face the truth. Institutional and structural racism led to Daniel Prude's death. I won't deny it. I stand before it, and I call for justice upon it.